the General Assembly. I bring to you, Mr. President, and all the nations of the world assembled here, salam, peace, and the greetings and good wishes of the people of Pakistan. We are delighted, Mr. President, to be able to address the General Assembly under your leadership. This is an important session of the General Assembly. The state of Qatar is a truly deserving and able country for this occasion. The Pakistani people have intimate, brotherly relations with your great country, and I speak for my people in welcoming your presidential term. Your election to this high office is as much a tribute of your outstanding qualities as it is to the high esteem that your country is held in the Committee of Nations. Why are we here, Mr. President? Other than the allure of New York City, why have we converged at the United Nations General Assembly? Pakistan is here because it believes in multilateralism. Each September, we return to this great city and this grand stage so that we can restate and reaffirm the principles and values of multilateralism. It is and has been one of the abiding central tenets of our foreign policy. We are committed to the very idea of the United Nations. To us, the idea is very simple. We can do more together than we can apart. We can solve complex problems by consensus rather than by unilateralism. Multilateral cooperation can help us deal with the spectrum of global challenges, old and new, in our independent world. As we grow more and more dependent on each other, the space for unilateralism and unidimensional answers to the most difficult questions shrinks. Those who are skeptical of the future of multilateralism are living in the past. The future, our collective global future, inshallah, is bright, and it is the United Nations and multilateralism that will safeguard this future. Mr. President, Pakistan believes in the promise of the United Nations, a world free from the scourge of war, a world governed by rules and norms of civility, of decency, of goodwill, creating a better future for the peoples of the world. Interstate conduct premised on the respect for the immutable principles of the United Nations. We must ensure that our United Nations is the best representation of those aspirations of our peoples. Mr. President, we must do better. There's far too much distance between these aspirations and the sometimes dark realities of our times. We are constantly struggling with difficult choices and cycles, expediency versus values, interests versus ideals. There is conflict, discord, and death. Natural and man-made calamities spread fear and destitution among millions and often exacerbate and expose already unacceptable levels of poverty and of deprivation. We face these challenges in every country. We cannot afford to face them alone. The importance of togetherness and of our faith and collective commitment to the ideals, principles, and values of the United Nations cannot be overstated. Togetherness or multilateralism, of course, does not mean uniformity or conformity. It does not mean falling in line. Instead, it means harmony, tolerance, respect for diversity, and a pragmatic, cognitive realization that no system, no single perception, no single prescription, no one rah or path works for all. Each society, every culture offers a rah or path for the march of mankind. Preconceived assumptions about the superiority of one way or the other must not be allowed to contaminate the spirit of the United Nations. Pakistan's oldest spiritual traditions and most beloved poets and peers have taught us there can be no progress where the mind is divorced from the heart. Faith in the United Nations is a manifestation of the best rational traditions and the most cherished tradition of idealism and believing in something. We believe in the UN. The spirit of the United Nations must permeate all our endeavors. The peoples of the world await the advent of the true age of the United Nations. We must reassert our promise to deliver it better. Mr. President, I would like to compliment our Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, for his tireless efforts in bringing to bear the vast reservoir of goodwill, of compassion and common humanity of member states in successfully addressing a wide array of challenges. On behalf of the people of Pakistan, I wish to convey our grateful thanks to the Secretary General and the international community for their support and solidarity expressed so generously in the wake of the devastating floods last year. This year again, heavy monsoon rains have caused widespread flooding. Millions have been affected, around 5.4 million people rendered homeless. Human and economic losses, as well as the pressing requirements of relief and rehabilitation, obliged us to make international assistance. We again thank you for your support and solidarity. The Pakistani people continue to consistently demonstrate their immense reservoir of courage, of forbearance, and of generosity. Inshallah, we shall overcome this misfortune through the same fortitude and resilience that our people have been blessed with. Mr. President, at this session of the General Assembly, Pakistan is seeking election to a seat on the Security Council. In soliciting your support, I wish to assure you that we would discharge our responsibilities with utmost dedication to the high ideals and principles of the United Nations. Pakistan attaches the highest importance to promoting the goals of peace, of security and stability in the world. In our own region, we have relentlessly endeavored towards creating an environment of shared prosperity and of shared peace. A democratic, progressive, and prosperous Pakistan embedded in a stable, secure, and prosperous region guides the framework of our foreign policy and could yield enormous benefits to not only the peoples of the region, but that of the world. We have reached out to our immediate neighbors with a sincere desire to join hands in bringing about durable peace and development by a win-win approach. Situated as we are on the crossroads of Central, South, and West Asia, we realize the enormous opportunities that ensue from pursuing with diligence the vision of common development and cooperation. I'm happy to note that both Pakistan and India are now engaged in a substantive dialogue process, a dialogue process that we in Pakistan hope will be uninterrupted and uninterruptible. We certainly intend to make this engagement fruitful and premise it on the promise of a mutually rewarding enterprise that would enable us to optimally avail the complementarities that exist. We look forward to resolving all outstanding issues, including the Jammu and Kashmir dispute, which is among the oldest on the agenda of the United Nations and the subject of several Security Council resolutions. A peaceful resolution that accords fully with the aspirations of the Kashmiris is indispensable for durable stability, as is the need for safeguarding their fundamental human rights. The reality of a nuclearized South Asia imposes on both Pakistan and on India the onerous responsibility to work together for creating mutual confidence, avoiding an arms race, and enhancing strategic stability. We look forward to moving in this direction in the dialogue process. Pakistan is also firmly committed to promoting stability and peace in Afghanistan. We respect and support the efforts of the government of Afghanistan under the leadership of President Karzai for reconciliation and peace. We strongly condemn the terror attacks in Kabul, in which many precious lives were lost. We also express our sympathy with our brothers and sisters in the leadership of Afghanistan on the tragic assassination of Professor Hina Rabbani, former president and chairman of the Afghan High Peace Council. Such cowardly attacks will never succeed in deterring our proud Afghan brothers and sisters from realizing the noble goal of reconciliation and of peace. Pakistan fully supports an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned inclusive process of reconciliation and peace in Afghanistan. We want to see Afghanistan as a united, independent and sovereign state. We urge all concerned to join the reconciliation process. We also call for a de-escalation and cessation of violence. The road ahead for peace in Afghanistan and our region as a whole is full of challenges. The complexity of the situation and the ground dynamics need to be analyzed objectively and carefully. Clarity and strategic coherence, especially among Afghanistan, United States and Pakistan, is of utmost importance. It is for this reason that we attach importance to the work of the Trilateral Core Group, We also attach considerable importance to the Afghanistan-Pakistan Joint Commission for Peace and Reconciliation. It is only by charting a clear roadmap that we would be able to bring about necessary operational policy coordination to achieve our shared goals and objectives. Given the volatility of the situation, it is perhaps understandable that there is a high level of anxiety and emotions. But we must not lose sight of the goals. We must work closely and as responsible partners together in a cooperative manner and not rush to judgments or question each other's intentions. A cooperative endeavor in full solidarity with the people of Afghanistan is the only way of ensuring peace, stability, and prosperity in the region. Pakistan is willing to do its best with the international partners and most notably the governments of Afghanistan and the United States to acquit itself of this high responsibility at this defining moment in one of the most important struggles of our times. Mr. President, Pakistan has always upheld the realization of the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, including the right to an independent homeland with Al-Quds, Al-Sharif as its capital. I would like to reaffirm our principled position here. President Mahmoud Abbas made a historic and memorable case for his people. We stand by him and the Palestinian people. We stand by our brothers and sisters, and we agree this is not sustainable anymore. We support the quest of the State of Palestine for membership in the United Nations. In North Africa and the Middle East, we have witnessed important developments. Pakistan believes that the aspirations of the people must be accommodated peacefully and without external interference, and in a manner consistent with the principles of sovereignty, of unity, of the territorial integrity of states. Mr. President, very few countries have been ravaged by the monster of terrorism as brutally as Pakistan has. We are keenly aware about the threat terrorism poses to Pakistan's neighbors, and to the rest of the world. 30,000 innocent Pakistanis have been killed, men, women, and children. The ever-valiant Pakistani armed forces have defended Pakistan and the rest of the world at the highest cost,